Peter Obi has confirmed that he will contest the 2027 presidential election, stating he's willing to serve only one term. Now, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party ruled out any joint tickets with Atiku Abubakar and emphasized that any coalition he joins must focus on insecurity, economic recovery, and poverty reduction.
There has been several rumors going on about Mr. Peter Obi, ranging from him joining the coalition party. Others were even saying that he has accepted to rule for only one term if he wins the 2027 presidential election. But there is this comprehensive interview which I will play for you so that you understand exactly what is going on. But just like I told you in my previous videos, that he's not just going to boost the economy and pull people out of poverty through pushing for production in this country and exportation. He is also going to expose and put a stop to so many secrets that has been made to lie low for ages, which part of those secrets are the reason why there are too much retrogression in this country instead of progress, and so many other things. But first, let me allow you to listen to this comprehensive interview. And as you are listening to it, make sure you are clicking on that share button. And also subscribe in case if you have never done so for more updates. And after that, I'll be back. Let's go there.
Peter Obi has confirmed that he will contest the 2027 presidential election, stating he's willing to serve only one term. Now, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party ruled out any joint tickets with Atiku Abubakar and emphasized that any coalition he joins must focus on insecurity, economic recovery, and poverty reduction. Obi criticized President Tinubu's foreign trips, saying they contrast sharply with the insecurity and hardship in the country. He also outlined plans to prioritize security, education, and cost-cutting in his first 100 days if elected, that is. He reaffirmed commitment to the Labour Party despite ongoing leadership disputes and said efforts were underway to secure INEC's recognition of the Nenadi Usman-led faction. While joining
Nigeria cannot thrive without being educated. For example, you might have a talent in something. We see it happen a lot of the time where people open up businesses. But because they're not properly educated, especially in terms, for example, finance, you see that they have issues, there are glitches, you cannot crunch those numbers properly. So he's very big on education. He's very big on ensuring that the Nigerian people themselves develop themselves educationally so that we can thrive as a country. If we're not educated, it's almost impossible for us to do well. If we don't have, he even said it, that the first thing he will hit the ground running and doing will be ensure that Nigerians are secure. The lives of Nigerians, the businesses of Nigerians are secure. Without security, many of the things that we want to do as a country will be almost impossible.
Now, do you believe, I'm just wondering, Nana, do you believe a one-term presidency can actually allow Peter Obi to implement significant reforms without being beholden to political pressures associated with seeking re-election?
You see, if Nigerians do not trust, this is what he said to us when we asked him this question. He said, it's about his integrity as a person. It's about the legacy that he wants to leave behind. If somebody like President Tinubu, which I must say personally, now politics aside, I am quite disappointed that he's not been able to, take the reins of this country. If Nigerians have a distrust in the word of politicians, it's not by virtue of anything Mr. Peter Obi has done. It's because of the history, unfortunately, the very abusive, so that's why there's a lot of mistrust between Nigerians and what her political leaders tell her. One thing we know that a Peter Obi presidency will give us is that institutions will not be run by strong men. We will have stronger institutions. And that's where this is what I want to say. I've said it before on this same platform. If Mr. Peter Obi is the president of Nigeria come 2027 after the elections, and he does well by 2031, trust and believe that it will be Nigerians themselves that would be asking for him to continue. But if Tinubu's government can do so woefully in just 2 years, then it tells you how much time, it tells you what can be done in the same period of time by a man who is determined to serve the people, to serve the country, and to redirect and retool the minds of Nigerians towards a better country. So, yes, I believe that a one-term, if he says that's what he's going to do, it is what he's going to do. He's a man of his word. People see Mr. Peter Obi as someone he's calm, he's very circumspect in what he does, but he's also very firm. And so, yes, if he says he will run for one term, I do not know that that's what's on the table yet. But he did say that if that's what is put on the table, and if he says he's going to run for one term, then so be it. That's what he'll do. And we do trust and believe that that's exactly what he'll do.
And just to hammer the point in one more time, I know you said the 2 years was enough or 4 years was enough to dismantle a system, but with one term, does it really provide Peter Obi the fair chance to implement any of the transformative changes that the party might envision, also knowing that there is a lot of uphill battle and resistance against his presidency, his candidacy, etc.? Is that enough time?
4 years is enough time. Nigerians have been through so much, and when you have the people behind you, when you are focused, when you say that you're going to tackle criminality, we know that a presidency with Peter Obi, we're not going to have budgets that are being padded unnecessarily. So yes, it's enough time. We already know that a presidency with Peter Obi is not going to use 39 billion naira, for example, to renovate the ICC. He's going to ask, what can 39 billion naira do in healthcare, primary healthcare? What will 39 billion naira do if we split it into three? 10 billion in education, for example, healthcare. And what can he do with security, to tackle the matters of insecurity? He has said that he's going to make sure that he tackles corruption head on. He's going to make sure that, he's going to cut down the cost of governance. He's not going to be flying. In your presentation, you talked about how he critiqued the Nigerian taxpayers' money has gone into traveling out of the country. We've not seen the results. The president has traveled over 40 times out of Nigeria, and Nigerians still have not seen those results. It's just, promises. This will, we will. What we want is somebody who's going to sit down and get to work. You hear, the monies are going to, the local governments are receiving better, more money coming to them. But I'm not aware. They should show us the bank accounts where local governments have started to receive these monies. And as long as the Supreme Court judgment is not followed and there's a delay, then it begins to undermine the positioning of even our Supreme Court judgments. So much is going, awry in this country, and we're just sitting down like sitting ducks and we're watching. Come 2027, it's going to be the Nigerian people who are tired against this administration. We sit down and we look, why are they so quick to foreclose on opposition? You see them celebrating that people are coming to join their party. You don't see them sitting down with the people who are killed and maimed, people whose livelihoods are destroyed on a daily basis in this country. You don't see, that's what we should be talking about. The Nigerian person, the Nigerian people. Hawa, I'd like to ask a question. When last did you go to the market and you didn't feel like you were being robbed? Because your list, you went to the market, you probably purchased something for 100 naira, and as of today, it's already 500 naira. One careless comment on the day of President Tinubu's inauguration put us, today, inflation is not something that you just see people discussing on television only. It's right here in our faces. It's right, people can hardly live. On Saturday, I was with an old secondary school mate of mine. She was my senior in secondary school, and she said to me, she's an assistant director. She earns about 240,000 naira. She says it's not enough to even fuel her car in a month to get her to work. That's why I'm saying that it will be the Nigerian people against this APC administration, because the hardship is too much. One thing I also do know is that
sorry, allow me to interrupt. So I'd just like to take us back a bit. You talked about trust, and you said Peter Obi is a man of integrity and you trust him. But there's one person, that seems to be disagreeing with him publicly, and that is former presidential aide Reno Omokri, who says the North should not back Peter Obi for the 2027 election, that Peter Obi would not keep his promise. He also published an email that he believes shows Peter Obi lobbying Atiku Abubakar to be his running mate in 2019. And, he has threatened to publish more documentary evidence. I would just like you to react to that.
You see, Reno Omokri is somebody that I would ordinarily, if you didn't bring him up, he's somebody that I would not even want to talk about. This same person was the one that went around. Did he not have a protest in the UK that Tinubu should not run? What is it he even did? He was all over the place in the UK, running up and down, calling Tinubu a drug lord. There's nothing he hasn't said about President Tinubu. So why should I expect that he wouldn't come? He's singing for his new paymasters. Why would I expect that he wouldn't come for a Peter Obi? Why would I expect him not to say? He said so many things about so many people. So why are we having this discussion? Please, let's talk about, I'd rather when every second that I have, I've always said this and I will still reiterate this, is to talk about Peter Obi, not to talk about distractions like Mr. Reno Omokri.
Fair enough.
If Mr. Peter Obi lobbied in 2019,
fair enough.
It's not a conversation
we will press fast
that I think
forward.
I should spend any time on.
Exactly. Let's talk about the joint ticket that was proposed with Atiku Abubakar. What exactly went wrong there? Why is Peter Obi not inclined to join any form of coalition when it seems that the people in the Labour Party themselves, yourself excluded, and some other of those who work directly for Peter Obi's presidential campaign, it seems like the Labour Party itself have turned against him. So outsiders looking in are wondering where the safe space would be for him to even run and get a presidential candidacy, for him to even run for one term. What do you say?
That's why we're still in the coalition talks. Soon there will be announcements that will be made that will allay many people's fears. I do not agree that the Labour Party in its entirety, it's a group that have decided to go the way they want to go. We have a Supreme Court judgment. And even in the last outing that Mr. Peter Obi had, he said it, that he's hopeful that the Supreme Court judgment is what is going to be supreme. The party, and he said it, that the party should be what is supreme. We cannot take the feelings and the misgivings of a group of people and say that's sacrosanct, that is what the Labour Party wants. No, he's still in the Labour Party. And like he said, it's still work in progress. We still have some time. So I think what Nigerians should do, rather than just go with all these permutations and run with it, watch the man in action. He's not the sort of person that likes to dabble. And he's not the type of person that wants to do things that are outside the rule of law. If not, then he would be the dictator and be the autocrat that we say we do not want in government. So in due time and in due course, you will see that the coalition talks, the people who emerge, the groupings and the leadership that will come together in due time. I don't want to give dates, but I know that very, very soon we will understand and see what's going on within the coalition. And he has told us, whatever the situation is, he's the first, but we will hear it from him first and not from third parties. So we just have to wait when things are properly finalized, because, he's also in a position where he has to consult. So it's not just about what he wants. I've said it before. He's running for this office through many hopeful Nigerians. He's not running just by himself, for himself. Yes, he has an ambition that we support. But we should also understand that because he's in consultations, it's not something that we should bring to the table just yet. We are still in coalition talks. We know that in the near future, very soon, there will be all the answers to these questions. But there won't be a coalition is highly unlikely at this time.
Now, considering how the 2023 election played out, how optimistic are you that Peter Obi's commitment to a non-violent and transparent campaign will be enough to attract voters who seem to have grown disillusioned with the way we play politics in Nigeria?
You see, that's not it, Mr. Peter Obi's fault. And that's one thing that irks me as an individual, as a person, Temi Tokwe. That's one thing that when I see the level of insecurity, what the government, I'm taking the full responsibility of saying this, you can tell that certain people there's no political will to secure the lives, so that there will be apathy amongst the people. But what I will say is that Nigerians we will not cower. Yes, 2023 happened and lessons have been learned. It won't happen again. This time, you can see, if you're somebody who's been following what we're doing, we've been going through our registrations, we've been educating people, we've been talking to grassroots for people to be educated on the reasons why it is detrimental to your life, it is detrimental to your future for you to think it's okay for somebody to come and give you 10,000, maximum maybe 200,000 after the elections. Then what? So you see, in a way, what we do when we're speaking to people in the grassroots, when we're talking with Nigerians, the first thing we say, like we say in local parlance, how market? How market? And because everybody knows where the shoe pinches, people can't go to hospitals. For example, there was a medication I used to get at 700 naira. That particular tablet, 700 naira per tablet, as we speak, 2 years down the line, it cost 4,200 for the same drug. So you can see that people can barely even, we're talking feeding, we're talking healthcare, even transportation. So when we say how market, we're telling you can't sell your conscience, you mustn't sell your vote, because it does not, at the end of the day, we all suffer it. At the end of the day, the people who, the political merchants who are there for their own self-aggrandizement and not for the service of the people are the ones who are enjoying themselves, and the rest of us sit down in a country like Nigeria that is endowed, and all we have is suffering. All we have are tales of death. All we have is the stench of death. All we have is the fear that if I'm moving from point A to B, am I safe? All we have is are the stories that make the headlines of insecurity. So at the end of the day, with the lessons we have learned from 2023, our focus is on INEC. You can actually see that we've been talking about having our electoral reforms that mustn't be tampered with. So INEC has a lot on their plate, and we expect them to do better coming 2027. In terms of violence, His Excellency Peter Obi has done it before. When he felt that he had an issue, he took it to court. He told everybody he's one person that believes very strongly in the preservation of life He won't tell you to snatch it, grab it, run with it. So now the onus is on you, it's on me, it's on Nigerians all over to be able to say, you know what, we won't do this violently, but we are going to pay close attention at every polling unit to our votes. The votes of Nigerians must count. The insecurity that goes on in this country, Nigerians should and will make sure that right there and then, because it will be a lot more difficult for them to rig. For example, if there are 20 of us that have registered at a particular polling unit, and all 20 of us show up, despite, because there was something that the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, said on a sister program, and I've always held on to that. How many guns and how many bullets or canisters of tear gas do they have to tear gas over 200 million Nigerians? This time, we're not going to sit down on our laurels and allow our voices be stifled or be quenched by some barons of Lagos, by some godfathers of Lagos. No. Nigerians will take their country into their hands. Nigerians, those are the conversations we're having now. You can see why a man like Peter Obi is on the lips of everybody. People are just tired of the status quo. People are tired of, how can you have a budget that was padded for one solar light, about 260 something million? That's absolutely ridiculous. So Nigerians, we won't be violent, but we will be alert. We will stay, we will make sure that our eyes remain on the ball. Right. The suffering is enough. We can't keep up at this pace. It's getting really, really frustrating.
Very well said.
You get the point. Now, do you think that if Peter Obi wins the 2027 presidential election and he does well in his first tenure, do you think Nigerians will allow him to just do only one term, or they will push for him to continue? Secondly, what do you think about the coalition party? Do you think that Peter Obi will still join the coalition party, or is there still hope in Labour Party, considering what is going on presently? I am going to allow you to share your honest thought with me on the comment section. And of course, you know the vibe. Click on that subscribe button, follow, and share for more updates. Because like this, we move.